Hello everyone, this is Inceptor 57. We're back again in War Thunder Dev Server 1.69 for another First Impressions. This First Impression is going to be a bit different than the usual, and that is mainly because the subject of this video, which you can see right in front of you, I cannot play yet because I do not have the necessary unlocks to even test drive this thing, but we can go over it, so I can do my first impressions just by looking at it, see what I think about it. I mean, I can't show you the gameplay, but we've had this kind of tank on War Thunder for a long time with the T-54 series, so you can get a general idea. I'm just gonna go over what makes it so different and as such. So first of all, what is this tank? So this is the T-55A. This is the new top tier rank 5 Soviet medium tank, and the T-55 is basically an upgrade over the T-54 series, with mainly the main difference is the Nbc Protection afforded by the T-55. Now, Nbc Protection is basically the nuclear, biological, chemical protection that seals the crew inside the tank. Because with the Cold War, the fear of the weapons of mass destruction, one of the concerns of nations is to how to keep the crew safe inside the tank. And the solution was, keep them in a separate environment than the outside, so the contaminant and all the bad stuff in the air can't go in. So the T-55A is the improvement over the T-54 for that purpose. And in fact, there's some distinction between the T-55 T-54. We'll go over that for a sec. But in game, let's talk about how it is in game first. So what it is in game is that it is a new top tier in the tech tree. I didn't research that. So as you can see, it is past the T-62, which used to be the top ranking, and it is actually 0.3 higher in battle rating. And it's 0.6 higher than the T-54 1951, which used to be the top for a long time. So why is that? Why is the T-55 so much better than T-62? Well, one good reason, and is actually one of the reasons why T-54 is generally seen as better over the T-62 by the community, is let's look at the reload rate. So we have the T-62. Its reload rate stock, this is stock straight from the tech tree, is 15.7 seconds per round. Now let's look at that to the T-54 1951. It is 11.2 seconds. That is considerably faster, especially when you need to shoot rounds down range. And then we have the T-55A, which is 11.1 seconds, which is almost the same as the T-54 1951. And generally, it does give it a big advantage over the T-62. But that's not the only reason why it's much better than T-62. I'll go back. So other reasons why it's better than the T-62 is ammunition. This thing has all the better 100mm ammunition. First of all, okay, we got the stock APTS, although I think it's the same in the other T-54. I'm not so certain. And you got, this is the standard 100mm APC-BC round. But it's the next two that are the big game changer. We have the AP-FSDS, the armor piercing fin stabilized discarding sabot round, which gives it a considerable amount of upgrade in kinetic energy, in kinetic penetrating capability. And then we have the heat round, the heat fin stabilized, which can penetrate 390mm. Now, the heat rounds in general are pretty powerful, as is in top ranking, but I think the the APFSDS does give the T-55A a much bigger advantage than its predecessors. I mean, the T-62 has a kind of a similar round, but as I said, longer reload. T-55 has that with a faster reload, yet it doesn't have to deal with the slow speed of a heat round. It has the zooming APFSDS to deal with long range encounters. Other big differences with the T-55A and compare that with the T-54 is that this tank has a 2-plane stabilizer. Before that, T-62 was one of the few medium tanks in the Soviet tree line that had a stabilizer, with 2-plane as well. T-55 also brings this 2-plane stabilizer to the T-54 family. What else? No, other than the armor is the same in the front, 100mm, heavily sloped, 60 degrees, almost doubles the front effectiveness. 200mm turret front protection, although the side is stranger, but with a hemispherical shape, it's got a lot of bouncing power. But otherwise, it's quite the same as the T-54. It's got the 80mm side armor, 45mm rear armor, and you got the space in the wheels. But yeah, so basically the T-55A is now the best battle rating wise, the highest Soviet tank, mainly because one, it's got faster reloads than T-62. It's got a better ammunition than the T-54s, a 2-point stabilizer, which makes it in par with the T-62, but then I remember I said faster reload, and basically all this familiarity with the T-54 series you can carry over to the T-55, so lots of user friendliness. And ironically, that's exactly the same problem the T-62 had in real life compared to the T-54, T-55 series. And it's just like, T-62 wasn't worth it in comparison. Like, you can just upgrade a T-54 to this, and it's cheaper too. And okay, so what else? So let's talk about the difference between T-54, T-55 in terms of like how do they tell the difference? Because some people don't really know. Other than I said NBC Protection, but what's a big distinction between NBC Protection and no NBC Protection? Well, the distinction is that there's no ventilator here. Now the T-55 does not have a ventilator on the roof of the turret, and as you can see here, it's completely flat. We look over to the T-54 series, and no, I did not research that. We look to the T-54. You can see the circular ventilator right here on the top, and this is the main distinction between T-54 and T-55. The T-54 has a ventilator on top to let the fumes out. T-55 does not have this because because ventilators basically let the air in and out, but that's a good way to let radiation, chemical, and pathogens, biological weaponry into the tank. So they got rid of that, and they tried getting fumes out the other way with the fume extractor in the T-55. And as you can see, look at the T-54 here. It looks very similar otherwise from those two few differences. We got the 100 millimeters sloping, we got 80 millimeters, we got 45 millimeters, we got a space in the wheel. So like I said, T-55 is just a big increase. Oh no, I didn't. A big increase over the T-54. A big improvement. Sorry, is like not increase what, right? Big improvement over the T-54 series in general. Better ammunition, better reload speed, better all the familiarity to know how to use T-54 you can bring over to the T-55. And in general, I kind of like that. So we got the crew in here. They're just all, look at all the ammunition just cluttered everywhere. It's the same thing. It's almost the same layout. You got a fuel tank here, and then you got the armor. We already went through armor. Mobility, 36 tons, 899 horsepower, and this is stock, remember? And -5 depression, which is not the best, but it's okay, for Soviet tanks. Soviet tanks kind of have a thing for not very good depression. But otherwise, I think I ramble long enough about the T-55. It's the most produced tank in the world. It has an iconic legend with the Soviet armored force, and it's definitely going to be I think it's going to be a good impact to the game. And although one thing I am concerned about now with the Soviet tree line is that twofold. One, you got a very long rank 5 grind to get through to get to T-55. Look, you got a 54 1947, 54 1949, you got 54 1951, T-62, and then the 55A. They really need to folder the T-54 series to make things more manageable for players. Second thing I'm concerned about is that, there's a saturation in rank 5 vehicles for Russia now. Look at that. I think they have the most rank 5 vehicles for tanks in the game at the moment. And I will not be surprised if in the future lineup most people would just take the entire medium tank lineup, T-55, T-62, T-54s, and just wreak havoc in realistic arcade simulator mode with those kind of stuff. And it's a concern. I'm not so sure if that's what people do, because as you can see, I haven't unlocked them to even try out the T-55, but it's a thing I'm sure some people have thought about. But hey, what do you think? Do you think the T-55 is going to be a new worthwhile addition to the game? Do you think T-54? Do you already see yourself if you're a T-54 player, like owning the battlefield with a T-55? Do you think the T-62 was really worth it back in the day? Do you think was it really the top ranking vehicle? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, feel free to press the like button, subscribe if you want to see more of these. I'm going to do more first impressions. Like I said, we got lots of new vehicles coming with update 1.69, not counting the new Italian tech tree. And T-55 is just one of them. I'm certainly excited, even though I can't play as it yet. But if I do make it there in the Soviet Union, I definitely would pick it up. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.